The security footage from Harbour Point bus terminal showed a timestamp. June 15th, 2017, 3:15 p.m. On any normal day, Thomas Fuller would have been halfway through his shift, mind drifting between passenger announcements and thoughts of dinner. But this day carved itself into memory the moment his eyes caught movement on camera 4. A teenage girl walked through the main entrance, her movements deliberate, yet somehow disconnected. Thomas leaned forward, coffee forgotten. Something about her seemed wrong. The summer heat outside had driven the terminal's temperature to nearly 80 degrees, yet this girl showed no signs of discomfort or perspiration. Her gaze remained fixed forward, never wandering to examine her surroundings. She wasn't lost, Thomas would later tell detectives. Lost people look around. They search. This girl, she knew exactly where she was going. But what truly froze Thomas in place wasn't her expression or her steady pace. It was what she wore. A pale blue dress with white daisies stretched across her teenage frame, torn at the seams. A child's dress on an adolescent body. The camera followed her barefoot steps across the polished floor. No hesitation, no pauses, just the steady rhythm of bare feet against cold tile. Thomas abandoned his post, walking briskly toward her. "Miss, are you all right?" he called. When she turned, Thomas felt his breath catch. Her face carried no emotion, yet her eyes, they seemed to hold something ancient within them. Something that didn't belong in the face of a teenager. "I need to see my mother," she said, her voice flat, emotionless. "I live at 842 Sycamore Street." The address registered in Thomas's mind immediately. Everyone in Harbour Point knew that address. Catherine Mason's home, the woman whose daughter vanished 12 years ago to the day, the girl in the faded blue dress with white daisies, the exact dress described in every missing person flyer that had blanketed the town for years. The dress 6-year-old Olivia Mason had been wearing when she disappeared without a trace. "What's your name?" Thomas asked, though he already knew or feared the answer. "Olivia Mason," she replied simply. His hand trembled as he reached for the phone. "I need to call someone," he said. "That's fine," the girl responded. "I've been away long enough." Thomas would later describe the moment to investigators as time collapsing in on itself. How could this teenager be Olivia Mason? How could she wear the same dress, now grotesquely small for her frame, that she disappeared in as a child? And most disturbing of all, why did she act as though she'd simply been delayed rather than missing for 12 years? Have you ever experienced a moment when reality seems to bend? When something impossible stands before you, challenging everything you understand about how the world works? If you've ever had an unexplained gap in your memory or time that can't be accounted for, comment "time slip" below. We've collected hundreds of stories about mysterious disappearances and impossible returns. But Olivia Mason's case defies explanation even among the most experienced investigators. The security footage captured it all: her arrival, her conversation with Thomas, and the haunting question that would consume Harbour Point for years to come. Where does a child go for 12 years, only to return as if barely a day had passed? Before June 15th, 2005, Harbour Point, Maine existed in peaceful obscurity. The coastal town of 8,200 residents prided itself on low crime rates and neighbourly concern. Children played freely in front yards until streetlights flickered on. Doors remained unlocked at night. The most excitement came from occasional fishing competitions and the annual Founders' Day parade. "We were living in a bubble," said Catherine Mason years later. "I never once worried about Olivia walking those 3 blocks home from school." June 15th began unremarkably. The final day of first grade at Harbour Point Elementary brought the usual end-of-year excitement. Photos from Ms. Addison's classroom show 20 smiling 6-year-olds holding paper certificates. Olivia Mason standing third from the left, her auburn hair in neat braids. She was especially proud that day, recalled Ms. Addison. She'd won the classroom reading challenge, finishing 23 books that semester. At 2:45 p.m., the school bell rang. Surveillance footage later recovered shows Olivia exiting the building at 2:48 p.m. She pauses to adjust her backpack, then waves goodbye to her teacher. The camera captures her distinctive pale blue dress with white daisies, a birthday gift from her grandmother Clara. She insisted on wearing it that day, Catherine would later tell police. I wanted her to save it for special occasions, but she loved how it twirled when she spun. This ordinary moment, a child leaving school, was the last confirmed sighting of Olivia Mason. The 3-block walk from Harbour Point Elementary to 842 Sycamore Street should have taken approximately 7 minutes. By 3:30 p.m., Catherine Mason had called the school. By 4:15 p.m., the first police officers arrived at the Mason home. Within hours, Harbour Point transformed. Volunteer search parties formed outside the elementary school. Police Chief Robert Donovan coordinated grid searches extending outward from Olivia's route home. Coast Guard vessels patrolled the shoreline while divers searched Stillwater Lake. We had over 400 volunteers the first night, Chief Donovan noted in his official report. I've never seen such immediate community response. But despite extensive searching, no physical evidence emerged. No backpack, no clothing fragments, no signs of struggle. K9 units followed Olivia's scent to the intersection of Elm and Pine Streets, barely halfway home, before losing the trail completely. It was as if she simply vanished mid-step, said Officer Natalie Parker, who would later be first on scene during Olivia's return. Children don't just disappear without leaving traces. 3 days into the investigation, FBI agent Marcus Holloway arrived. The case file he compiled revealed disturbing details Catherine initially withheld, Olivia's increasingly strange behavior in the weeks before her disappearance. School counselor Teresa Winters provided authorities with drawings Olivia had created during their sessions. The images showed stick figures standing between stylized trees, watching a small figure in what appeared to be a blue dress. In one particularly unsettling drawing, the figures formed a circle around the girl, their arms impossibly long, reaching toward her. She called them the Watchers in the Trees, Winters explained. She claimed they whispered to her at night, promising to show her the door between places. Catherine confirmed Olivia had been experiencing night terrors, often waking screaming about people watching from outside her window. Therapy had been scheduled to begin the following week. As months passed, leads dwindled. The investigation stalled. Then, exactly 3 months after the disappearance, a small package arrived at 842 Sycamore Street. Inside, wrapped in plain white tissue paper, lay Olivia's silver charm bracelet, the family heirloom with a single star charm she'd worn daily since her 4th birthday. Most disturbing was the postmark, Harbour Point's own post office, dated September 14, 2005. Someone within the community had possessed the bracelet. Someone had returned it without revealing themselves. Someone who perhaps knew exactly what had happened to Olivia Mason. Time doesn't heal all wounds. Sometimes it merely dulls the edges. For Harbour Point, the years following Olivia's disappearance marked a gradual transformation from active investigation to cold case file. By 2008, Agent Holloway's visits became quarterly, then annual. The dedicated task force disbanded. Files were archived. The search for Olivia Mason became a footnote in FBI regional statistics. Yet at 8:42 Sycamore Street, time stood still. Catherine Mason declined 3 promotions at Harbour Point Memorial Hospital that would have required relocation. "I can't leave," she explained to longtime friend and colleague nurse Beth Winters. "What if she comes home and I'm not here? What if she tries to find me?" Olivia's bedroom remained frozen in 2005. The pink butterfly bedspread remained neatly made, awaiting its owner's return. The collection of stuffed animals sat arranged exactly as Olivia had left them, Mr. Buttons the teddy bear in the place of honor. School drawings covered the walls. The closet held clothes for a 6-year-old, including the identical blue daisy dress Catherine had purchased as a backup. Tags still attached, never worn. Only after 5 years did Catherine allow herself to open Olivia's backpack, found behind a bush 2 blocks from school by searchers on day 7. Inside, a handmade Mother's Day card Olivia had planned to give Catherine that weekend, its glitter now dull, its message heartbreaking in its simplicity. To Mom, love forever, Olivia. Harbour Point itself changed in subtle yet profound ways. The elementary school installed security cameras and implemented strict sign-out procedures. Children no longer walked home alone. Parent carpools formed, and the sidewalks that once bustled with independent children fell quiet. The town council approved funding for additional street lighting. Neighborhood watch programs expanded to cover every block. "We lost something beyond Olivia," said Pastor Michael Green of Harbour Point Community Church. "We lost our innocence, our sense of safety." The annual candlelight vigils marking Olivia's disappearance told the story of fading collective memory. The first anniversary brought nearly 1,000 attendees, practically the entire town. By year 5, approximately 200 gathered in Harbour Point Park. Year 10 saw barely 50 people, mostly those who had known the Mason family personally. Catherine attended each one, growing visibly thinner as years passed, clutching the spare blue daisy dress like a talisman. She continued working night shifts at the hospital, volunteering at the elementary school library during days, seemingly surviving on coffee and determination. Chief Donovan retired in 2010, passing the case to Lieutenant James Parker. "It haunts me still," Donovan admitted at his retirement ceremony. "That little girl deserved better from us." The bracelet remained the most bewildering piece of evidence. FBI forensic analysis revealed nothing. No fingerprints, no DNA, no identifiable handwriting on the package. The most sophisticated investigation techniques of the era yielded nothing but frustration. Would you stay in a town where your child vanished without a trace? Would you remain in the home where their memory lives in every corner? Or would you start fresh somewhere untouched by tragedy? Comment below with "stay" or "leave" and share your reasoning. What would you do if faced with Catherine's impossible situation? June 15th, 2017 marked exactly 12 years since Olivia Mason vanished. Catherine spent the morning as she had 11 previous anniversaries, placing fresh flowers beside Olivia's photo, attending a brief prayer service led by Pastor Green, then beginning her shift at Harbour Point Memorial Hospital. At 3:22 p.m, Catherine's phone rang. Officer Natalie Parker's voice trembled on the line. "Catherine, you need to come to the station immediately. We have someone here claiming to be Olivia." The security footage from Harbour Point bus terminal had already reached Police Chief James Parker's desk. 3 officers watched it repeatedly, transfixed by the barefoot teenage girl in a child's dress. The same dress from every missing poster. The same dress described in hundreds of witness interviews. Catherine arrived at the station 17 minutes later, collapsing when she saw the girl sitting in the interview room. The teenager's auburn hair, now long and unkempt, framed a face that was simultaneously familiar and foreign, older, gaunter, but undeniably Olivia's features. DNA analysis confirmed it within 24 hours, Dr. Eleanor Weiss of Harbor Point Regional Medical Center would later report. Genetic markers matched samples from Olivia's hairbrush preserved from 2005. The probability of error was less than 0.0001%. Biologically, this is unquestionably Olivia Mason. Yet the medical impossibilities began mounting immediately. Despite arriving barefoot, Olivia's feet showed no calluses or weathering consistent with extended walking. Her nails were perfectly trimmed. Her teeth showed no decay, yet appeared to have grown normally for her age. Most disturbing were the markings covering her back, intricate patterns of raised scarification forming what anthropologist Dr. Lydia Blackwood identified as ancient astronomical configurations. These aren't random, Dr. Blackwood noted in her report. They depict specific stellar arrangements, including several deep sky objects not visible to the naked eye, with particular emphasis on the Pleiades constellation. The precision suggests knowledge of celestial mechanics beyond typical understanding. Blood tests revealed further anomalies. Olivia's blood contained trace elements not typically found in the human body, including unusual isotopes of common minerals. Her cellular structure showed patterns of regeneration typically associated with much younger individuals. Medically speaking, she presents as both malnourished and in perfect health simultaneously, Dr. Weiss concluded. It defies conventional explanation. Even more bewildering was Olivia's psychological state. Clinical psychologist Dr. Thomas Renfield conducted the initial evaluation. Subject exhibits no signs of trauma-based disorders, no PTSD indicators, no dissociative patterns, his assessment began. Cognitive function tests indicate intelligence significantly above average, with particular aptitude for mathematics and linguistics. Subject demonstrates fluency in multiple languages not studied prior to disappearance, including what linguistic experts identify as an extinct Baltic dialect. Yet she maintains she experienced only 1 day's passage of time. When questioned about her disappearance, Olivia's account remained consistently, disturbingly simple. "I was walking home," she told investigators, her voice flat and emotionless. "A lady in a green coat asked if I wanted to see something beautiful. She pointed to the woods beyond Pine Street. I followed her. We walked until we found a door in the largest tree. She opened it. Inside was a long hallway with many more doors. We walked through one with stars carved on it. I had dinner. I went to sleep in a room with a glass ceiling showing the night sky. When I woke up, I walked back through the door and came home to see my mother." When pressed about the 12-year gap, Olivia simply responded, "The stars move differently there. Time isn't the same." Most disconcerting was her emotional disconnection. When reunited with Catherine, Olivia displayed recognition but minimal affection. "My mother missed me," she stated matter-of-factly. "The stars told me to return." Have unexplained phenomena occurred in your community? Have you or someone you know ever experienced missing time? Moments where hours passed but felt like minutes? Perhaps you've encountered objects that seem to appear from nowhere, defying logical explanation. Comment below with your experiences and whether you believe some mysteries exist beyond scientific understanding. In the months following Olivia's return, Harbor Point became ground zero for scientific inquiry. Linguistic experts documented her inexplicable fluency in 7 languages, none of which she had studied before disappearance. Most remarkable was her command of an extinct Baltic dialect last spoken in the 13th century. "Her pronunciation is flawless," noted Dr. Martin Kowalski, linguistics professor at Boston University. "She speaks as if it were her native tongue, using idiomatic expressions documented only in medieval texts." Equally baffling was Olivia's mathematical prowess. When presented with complex equations, she solved them instantly, often providing alternative solutions. During one session, she corrected a published quantum theory paper, identifying a calculation error overlooked by peer reviewers. "She doesn't calculate," observed Dr. Sarah Henderson, theoretical physicist. "She simply knows. It's as if the answers already exist in her mind." Catherine's attempts to rebuild their relationship met resistance. While Olivia acknowledged Catherine as her mother, emotional connection remained absent. She referred to herself in third person when discussing pre-disappearance memories. Little Olivia enjoyed that book, or Mother bought little Olivia that toy. Their home life settled into uncomfortable routine. Olivia spent hours drawing complex astronomical charts and writing in notebooks using unfamiliar symbols. She slept only during daylight, standing by her bedroom window at night, watching the stars. "She's my daughter, but also a stranger," Catherine confided to therapist Dr. Rebecca Mills. "Sometimes she stares at me like I'm the one who doesn't belong." Perhaps most unsettling were the ongoing unexplained phenomena surrounding the evidence. The pale blue dress with white daisies remained in police storage, yet officers reported finding it damp with morning dew despite the climate-controlled environment. Security footage showed no one entering the evidence room, yet moisture analysis confirmed the dew contained plant pollens not native to Maine. Chief Parker installed cameras directly focused on the evidence box. 3 times, the footage showed the dress dry at night, then inexplicably dew-covered by morning, with no indication of tampering. Multiple theories emerged to explain Olivia's case. Dr. Henderson proposed an advanced scientific possibility. Quantum displacement could theoretically cause a person to slip between dimensional planes where time moves at different rates. Psychological experts suggested elaborate confabulation, Olivia experiencing trauma so severe, her mind constructed an alternative reality, though this failed to explain her acquired knowledge or the physical evidence. Religious leaders pointed to supernatural intervention, while folklore specialists noted similarities to centuries-old tales of fairy abductions where victims returned believing only hours had passed while years elapsed in our world. Harbour Point residents reported increased unusual phenomena: electronic malfunctions, unexplained lights in the woods near Pine Street, and chronometer discrepancies where watches and clocks lost or gained time inexplicably. Most troubling was Olivia's prediction, spoken during her final recorded interview. "The door remains open. Others will find it. The watchers are still waiting in the trees." What actually happened to Olivia Mason during those 12 years? Was she subjected to experiments by unknown entities? Did she slip through a tear in reality? Or is there a more conventional explanation buried beneath layers of impossibility? Subscribe now to explore more unsolved mysteries that challenge our understanding of reality. Comment below with your theory about Olivia's disappearance and return, and whether you believe doorways to other worlds might exist closer than we imagine. Are there places where time flows differently? The answer might be hiding in your own community.